Hi there, welcome to this Light Walk podcast channel. Today I'm going to talk about intent, synchronicity, and acceleration of energies in general. What these are all energies, how could we use them? Because the planet is vibrating very high at the moment and the darkness is unable to cope. They are revealing themselves everywhere. They are fighting back, but they are not going to win. So the future world is a world of energy, how to work with energies, how to think manifestation, how to use your thoughts to create events, to create things. That's where this world is heading to. So anybody who is still thinking of the past energies, how things used to be 10, 20 years ago, still doing things the same way, they are not going to survive these energies. They are not going to survive this new earth. So my take on the current crisis, on the struggle in Ambazonia, as I can say, is we could see over 4 years the crisis has been going on. And some people wonder how, of a sudden, a culture of people just suddenly decide to want to be on their own. It is a consciousness-driven war. It's a consciousness-driven war, meaning that it is because of the shift of the planet since the 21st of December 2012 that we effectively entered the higher vibration or the fifth dimension, meaning a dimension of benevolence, of goodness, of compassion, of sharing, and all those kind of things. Anything that is not relating to all this kind of benevolence, goodness, anybody who is still thinking of the past, lies, hatred, division, they are not going to win. They cannot win anymore. It's finished. So it's all of a sudden a culture of people decide to change. People are wondering why this war. It is a consciousness-driven war. It's a war about consciousness. People just decide to change because the planet is vibrating higher. The consciousness of the people has changed. It's the whole world issue. In the Middle East, you remember the times where Palestinians used to fight Israeli suicide bombings almost every day suicide bombing, but it's all over. If you look back, you see that the last years, there's nothing more. It's finished because of the consciousness of the youth coming up now. They are coming with a new consciousness. It's no more the older generation. It's the new generation have a new consciousness because the planet is vibrating higher. They don't believe in wars anymore. They don't believe in blowing themselves off in Israel anymore. It's lessening the whole world, and that's just how it's going to continue. And this is related to also their struggle in Ambazonia. And my prediction is that what I guess is President Trump, if he wins the November election, is going to facilitate the liberation of Ambazonia next year, because he's a wild card of the revolution of the world, of the new consciousness. President Trump is a sort of a wild card. We call them wild card, people who just come to change events. He came because of this new consciousness to help humanity in change the course of the consciousness of the people, to change the course of the world. And he's being supported by an angelic collective who are helping to steer the world towards this new consciousness. And in the future, you will not be surprised to see that the various warring factions in Ambazonia, Sako faction, the Ayuk Tabe faction, you got Ayabas faction, that they all unite. Because that's where it's heading to. It's heading to unity. Any community or peoples who are still doing separationists, they are not going to win. It's not going to work. So it's only through unity. They will all one day unite and be one. That's what is going to happen. That's my prediction anyway. So anything relating to egoistic, will not work. Contrary to what was happening before, what used to happen before. Those who are ego-driven are going to lose. Separationists and so forth. But on the contrary, anything relating towards unity, compassion, sharing, benevolence will work. And the earth does not longer support anything that has to do with separation, because humanity is one. We all have one soul. We are heading towards oneness kind of world whereby there are no borders. I mean, consciously, and then people will be able to talk only consciousness. So they will be we are all brothers. And if you look at it that way, you will see that the relationship with French Cameroon will have to change also for the fact of that we need a separate state is good, but we have to work with the French citizens in one way or the other. We must do that. I don't mean the elites, the cabal. I mean here the ordinary citizens of French Cameroon, because these are peoples who have never experienced freedom before. They don't know what is freedom. The Francophones don't understand it because they have never experienced it. All what they have known is oppression and the treachery and corruption, and which is being imported from France. That's what they taught them. That's all what they know. They don't know anything about freedom, really. They don't know. So, but in order for Ambazonia to succeed, we must work together with the ordinary Francophones. We have to help them. That's why they are struggling to learn English now. They are all desperate to learn English, but they didn't do that 20 years ago. They were not interested. They didn't even have time for English. But now, to them, English is a symbol of freedom. That's how we have to look at it. It's not about hatred of Franco-Frenchman. No. To them, they are looking for freedom through English. That's how we have to look at it. So English is what is saving them to be free, saving them and allowing them to have that inner feeling of freedom. So it's a duty of the various warring factions, when the time of unity is approaching, not to forget the ordinary French citizens, to try to share with them, with the Francophone side, a little bit. Then it's going to work, because that's the consciousness-driven world. That's why it's heading to compassion, collaboration, togetherness, benevolence. That's the fifth dimension. That's where we are now. Anything contrary to that can never work. So that's my piece of advice to the warrior factions. So now I'm going to dive right into the future. In the future, we should be expecting a lot of things. One thing is that we should understand there is this magnificence of the human being. The human being is really magnificent, and we all are connected like a fractal. We all have the same soul, each human being, but in different vehicles or bodies. But we have pieces of the souls in us, but which is one soul. So if you're looking at another human being, or you are looking at yourself, it's you, because you all have one soul. The same soul he has, you have it. You have the same soul. So we are all interconnected. And all of us have a higher self, which is your other self. So we have a body, a vehicle here, and we have a soul, and we also have a higher self, which is another you up there watching at you every time. That's why in some cases, when you are driving a car, for example, and you almost had an accident, blink of a second, you turn left, you turn right, and you avoided an accident, or you almost hit your leg on a stone and you avoided, or the snake almost bit you, but let's say you were in the field somewhere and you just suddenly turn left and you discover there was a snake or something almost hurt you. That is the higher self doing it. This is the other you pushing you. Oh, look there. It's not you, but it's the higher self doing those things. So that's the other you. So all of us have them, and it's as you walk around, sometimes you meet other people, you meet other parts of you. That's where this idea of soulmate comes from. We all have copies of ourselves, identical copies of ourselves walking around. And it is a future where we're going to ask a lot of questions. We have to be asking questions from now, because the energies of the planet have shifted greatly. And the human beings who are asking a lot of questions at the moment, who are looking deep into themselves, who are looking at the world and noticing, hey, gee, something is wrong here. Why is the media? They're discovering the lie, the government lies. They're discovering that the media is telling a lot of lies. And when they are caught, the media, what do? They instead show elegance. They show they continue from there with a lot more elegance. That is real darkness dying off, but fighting back. That is what it is. And it's just about asking yourself a lot of questions. We look deeper into ourselves, look at the world, look at the politics. You get politicians who come and lie. The next day come and lie, and people still buy into it. And because that's what they've been doing for the last 20, 50 years. They only lie, but only now the population is waking up to those lies, and we are realizing it. So it is something to note that awareness comes eye-opening, and it also leads to questions. The more questions you ask about the world, about yourself, about the politics, about what is happening, the more intuitive you become, the more answers you will get from your higher self, from the angelic collective. They will send you answers because the vibration of the earth is higher now. The angels are coming a little bit more closer, or your guidance, your guardian angels, they are more prone to give you answers now intuitively, more than that what they did before, because the planet is vibrating higher. And you've got this issue of this spraying of this COVID pandemic thing. They keep on spraying. They go to places where there is no virus. I remember in a place like the Mezam, they went there before there was 0 cases, and when this thing started, and they started spraying. After spraying, within 2 weeks, there was more than 50 to 100 cases. Everywhere they go, they say they want to disinfect, they are spraying, but there are no viruses there. Nobody is sick there. They go spray. After 2 weeks, the whole place is filled with infection. So you ask yourself, what are they spraying really? Yeah. Because it's not helping, it's instead increasing. Those things and those chemicals they are spraying, why are they not spraying them in Europe? How can Europe manufacture chemicals and send them to Africa for people to spray, to disinfect, and they themselves don't disinfect themselves here? Is it real? It's just questions. Ask yourself questions, and ask yourself more. The more questions you ask, the more intuitive responses you will get. You have a Chinese businessman distributing masks. I have nothing against distributing free masks, but going the whole Africa distributing masks is suspicious. For free and very urgently, and every country must accept the free mask. Those things are not, doesn't look, everybody has to have his own idea about it, but you need to ask questions. And in the future, we will have a world, and you should not be surprised on what you see on TV, because darkness is fighting back. But they have already lost. The timeline have changed. That's why if you look at the Nostradamus predictions and all the famous people who predicted doom for this period, the world wars, whatever, the Third World War, the total annihilation of the planet, it didn't happen because the timeline changed since 2012. It means those Nostradamus and all those people who predicted, who saw the future, they didn't see this timeline. That is what they didn't know, that consciousness was going to change on the 21st of December 2012, that we were going to enter officially in a new dimension, because they couldn't see that dimension. It's a timeline change. They couldn't see it. Those early predictions from the 18th century, they couldn't see this timeline. They only saw it in 2012. They couldn't see afterwards. That's why the predictions of Nostradamus and the doom, they are not going to work anymore. They are finished. They are not necessary. They are not useful anymore. Let me put it that way, because the timeline have changed. And in the future, we should be expecting a lot of exciting things, a new, higher-driven, consciousness-driven world, a planet without war, all the countries thinking about fighting armies and war. That's why the French army in Ambazonia, they will lose badly. They will lose and run away, physically, because the planet is not supporting wars anymore. Armies, that's what the darkness, the cabal regime in Yaoundé don't understand. They don't know light. They don't know that the timeline has changed and that the war is unwinnable. They can never win it. They will run away because the energies don't support the wars anymore. That's why they don't have protection. They're just dying. It's like a suicide mission they are going into. Just because the energies of the planet don't like killings anymore, don't like hurting. It's more about goodness, higher consciousness, just what Jesus Christ was preaching when he came here, the master. And in the future, you will get more surprises on TV. You will get darkness refusing to go away. You have a president who is supposedly dead but keep on appearing on TV. And you will be asking yourself, how is somebody who is because they could manipulate images? It's all the cabal. Donald Trump, he's fighting the cabal, but he can only do so much because the cabal is everywhere. They have their people everywhere, diplomats, they can manipulate images, whatever, until they are all gone in his second term. Here by Donald Trump's second term in this November, if he wins. Then Ambazonia can effectively be expecting to be free next year, as I can say, because he will crush the remaining cabal with no mercy. And that is the future. And it's a battle for survival because the darkness, the cabal, exists only in the third and fourth dimension, which means they exist, and we are now past the fourth and fifth dimension, the third and fourth dimension. Now, past here, I am talking about the vibration of the planet has gone past this 5D, which means we have entered a planet, an area in the galaxy where it is more benevolent, more caring, more compassionate, and the cabal cannot exist there. And what we should expect in the future in this world is the greatest discovery that is going to come. It will be the discovery of this quantum, the field of gravity, able to see gravity, what holds us on ground, gravity, because gravity is something you can see, it exists. So when the scientists are going to discover that consciousness can be seen with some special instruments, you could see consciousness, because consciousness is physics. Physics is consciousness. The more you can manipulate consciousness, you can manipulate physical objects. It means the more you can discover the field of gravity, and going now to quantum, you can see the quantumness, you will be able to produce or manufacture different things that are beyond belief at the moment. We don't see it now because we are unable to see physics. Physics exists. You can, if you special instrument, you can see physics. Consciousness. Sorry. And the consciousness is physics. With consciousness, you can manipulate physics. So it means the idea of, you see in some movies, the movie Back to the Future, where you get into a different timeline in the past, and all those things could become possible because of the capability we will have to manipulate physics and manipulate the quantumness. You've got these movies portraying flying cars, medicine gadgets that they are like Google glasses, something you put on you put on, and then you'll be able to cure diseases by your own consciousness. You go to hospitals, you will not only need medications as such, but you will have something like Google gadgets, glasses on, and then you will use your consciousness to heal. Because then we will be able to know how to manipulate physics, which is everything physical. Consciousness, which is everything physical. Heating, geothermal, we will not be needing this nuclear fusion technology to produce energy, but we will have geothermal energy, which is just drilling through the earth and then getting heat. There's a lot of heat there. People, that's what is going to be in the future. People could use it to generate energy. And then clean water will be directly through nanotechnology, a filtering system whereby you will just have water from the sea, clean will just pass through a filtering device, and then it come out the other way, and we just pure clean water constantly. There will be no problem with drinking water, having clean drinking water. These are all the futures. Flying cars will be just a common thing because we will have discovered, I say it again, gravity, quantumness, how to manipulate the quantum, the gravity, and then it will be possible to manufacture flying cars. That's what we're expecting in the future with this shift in dimension. The planet that is vibrating higher now, becoming less dense and more of energy manipulated kind of planet, easy to manipulate energy. And another thing will be inventions of televisions that are of quantum nature, quantum TV. By quantum televisions here, I mean there will be in the future here, I'm talking about a timeline of plus minus 50 years or more. We will have televisions that are quantum, that is quantum televisions. These quantum TVs will allow us maybe, to have 2 million, 3 million channels. You could never watch them all because 80% of those channels beaming through this quantum TV set will be from the galaxy, from the other civilizations in our galaxy. It means the religion institutions, they will have a lot of hard time to convince people because when the quantum TVs will come on, people are going to realize that there are civilizations scattered everywhere in the galaxy. And we will just for now we cannot see those civilizations on our TV set. We cannot capture them because we are not vibrating high enough. The Earth is now in the beginning phase of the higher vibration. And with the discovery of quantumness, of gravity, of quantum physics, they will discover a lot more things in quantum physics. They will be able to see gravity and see consciousness, and those things combined will be able to produce this quantum TV I'm talking about, which will now be able to have television channels from all over the galaxy of other civilizations, other planets. We will be able to see them here live, but we might not understand what they're all about, but we will be seeing them. We'll be able to capture all over the galaxy, other civilizations. It will be very easy because of quantum television, a different kind of TV that's still on the works, that's coming. And these are what we should be expecting in the future planet, future Ambazonia, as I can put it. People who are going to be vibrating with this higher consciousness. In the hospitals, for example, you will go to a hospital in the future, that's with this high vibration planet, that's no more fighting wars. So you will go to hospitals and it will not be like what is happening now with doctors attending to you. But you will have, doctors, you will have metaphysicians in one section, you have shamans, you have normal doctors, you have multidimensional, you have people, shamans, but by shamans here, I'm talking about people who deal with multidimensionality, with energies, who can just look you and treat you without using anything, who just look at you and healing powers. That is what is going, because a lot of people with those healing powers are going to be revealed in the future. They will just go to hospitals, you will have lots of sections, and you have less polluting cars, and the earth, because the earth is recalibrating now very highly. You see the deaths, people are dying randomly, carelessly, not carelessly, sorry, pardon me, but people are just, it's like the disease is selecting people and just killing them overnight. People are just dying, but it is also for those with awakening consciousness, it is a recalibration. The earth is recalibrating. So people should not view the deaths in the deaths as something that is sad or that is implies suffering of that particular soul, but they should view it as the earth recalibrating itself. And now, that is what I had to say about this future Ambazonia, future Earth. The other thing I wanted to touch on was synchronicity. There's something that but before I go there anyway, let me conclude with this acceleration of energies as we see it now. It means darkness is refusing to go away. They are trying, they are lying, they lie, look at the TV, look at politicians. That's what I call darkness. Those are the black hats. They are the darkness. They lie and lie and lie and lie. They lie till, but they are not able to really get the results because people have awakened. The Ambazonian, for example, they are in Ambazonia. The people are awake. They are intelligent. They are saying things. But the darkness, the politicians in La République, French Cameroon, they do not understand that people's consciousness have shifted. They are still walking in the past energy, in darkness area, 20 years ago, and because they are darkness. They are not realizing that people have entered a new dimension. So they are still playing, but it's not working. They are lying, but it's not working. People are seeing it, but they don't know that people are seeing it because they are darkness. They are dying out. So they are fighting to hang there, but it's not working. And let me talk briefly about intent and synchronicity. It's something that is still relating to these energies we are moving into right now, because intent and synchronicity are very important at this particular time. They are, I would call it amplified synchronicity. By synchronicity here, I will just start by saying what it is before really explaining it. I give an example. Let me say you go to church. You meet an old classmate who was together with some friends, relatives, or whatever, and then you get connected to one of those friends, and later that particular person becomes your, in the case of a female, your wife or something. This is just an example I'm giving, just an example. Or you're thinking about a job every day, you're looking for a job, and then you just go, you take a bus to go somewhere, and you meet somebody, you see a piece of paper laying on somewhere, you read it, and you see some information about work and somewhere, and you go there, and you get connected, directed to go somewhere, and you go and you get a job. That's what we call synchronicity. One event leads you to another, and another, till then you get what you want. It looks like chance. We call it luck, good luck, but it is, in esoteric terms, it's all about energy. That is synchronicity. We call it synchronicity. One event leads to another, and then it gets you what you want by chance. It's never planned. You just get up one morning, you are thinking about something, and events lead you to that particular thing you are thinking about. That's what I mean here by synchronicity. And by synchronicity, you're going to start with intent first. In order for synchronicity to function, you must have the intent of doing that particular thing you want to do. You have to think, this is what am I intending for? What do I need a job? Do I want what do you want to achieve with this synchronicity? What do you need? A new partner? What do you want? Are you planning to travel? Anything is, you must have an intent first of whatever you want to do. Do you want to be planning to write a book? Or whatever you're planning to do is that intent. You must intend, because intent, when you give intent, you are innate innate in your body. It is we have 76 trillion cells and so on in your body. And then you've got the brains of these cells. They are what you call innate. And all the brains put into one, they are like a person inside of you. Your innate in you is like another human being just in you, waiting for your commands to act. So there's another engine, I'll call it engine, in the human body that we seldomly use. If you knew how to use your innate, you could be like two humans in one. You talk to your body and it manifests things to you. That's where thought manifestation is possible. Because when you talk to your innate will provide you the things you're looking for. And in an old energy, synchronicity was a lot more difficult because you had to have more patience. Darkness was everywhere. But the darkness is dying out, so synchronicity is becoming more apparent and more easy now. And you might just start by saying an affirmation to yourself. A short affirmation for synchronicity will be, Dear Spirit, bring me the right person, place or organization or situation where I can marry this to the intent. And it's going to happen. That's all. I repeat it again. Dear Spirit, bring me to the right person, place or organization or situation where I can marry this to the intent, and it's going to happen. Perhaps it's a healing center, or perhaps it's a book you are planning to write. This is the intent you are giving forth, which means you will have the necessary, some events will synchronize somewhere in the future that will lead you to someone who will help you to write this book, or who will collaborate with you, or who will give you some connections how to do about this book. That is what I'm talking about. With this affirmation, it is an imprint in your innate, and your innate, which is the brains of your cells, they will manifest these things for you. That's what you call synchronicity. That's what people call good luck. Oh, I was lucky with this. Oh, I was lucky to meet this person. That's not good luck. It's called synchronicity. We call it in esoteric terms synchronicity. Intent may even be intent to find a life purpose, because you are convinced that you should be more than what you are doing. You are not really sure what it might be. And with pure intent, you're asking for synchronicity to bring you to a place where you can activate what you are dreaming of. And then it involves others also. They have to be aware of this synchronicity. So for synchronicity to occur, others must also play their part. It means you have to go to create synchronicity, to create events, to create things happen to you, meet friends. You must be at the right place at the right time. You must be able to go out, even sometimes take a walk to places you didn't intend to go. Just walking, by meeting people. Because if you stay at home, synchronicity cannot work. You can do the affirmations, you can say whatever you want, but it's not going to work, because you need to go out, and it also depends on other people. The energies are going to pull other people who will need to meet you. But if you stay grounded at your home, it will not work as such. You must really go out for synchronicity to occur. And occasionally you might just meet somebody who will say, oh, gee, you are you say, so you are also the one I have been looking for. Through discussions, you will realize that he was looking for that kind of person like you, and you were also looking for that particular event. I think we have had this kind of occurrences happen to our lives one time or the other, that we just decide, oh, you meet somebody and say, oh, I was looking for this particular thing, and you too were looking for that. That is what is called synchronicity. So this event, because you had intent of that particular thing some years or some months ago, but you didn't know you were creating synchronicity. So when you finally meet that person or somebody, you will say, oh, I'm very lucky. This is what I've been thinking. But because of your thought, That's your thought, what you were thinking is what we call intent. You gave an intent out there, and the energies manifest, your innate manifested it for you. That's what I'm talking about here. That's what we call intent manifestation, quick manifestation. All these things is a new world we are heading to. Learn how to play with energies. You have to know that this idea of God, God is inside. There is no God outside. God is inside of you because there's a whole engine inside. That's what the masters who came to earth were teaching. Jesus Christ, Buddha, and so forth. They were teaching for the God, about God within. Jesus Christ never asked anybody to worship him, but he was teaching about love and compassion. He asked people to practice it. He didn't ask people to worship him, but to practice that love and compassion. Because he knew that love and everything was inside. Some people, they are afraid of shamans. They say, oh, this is a witch, or that person said. They look at shamans in a negative way. In a kind of a negative, like the shamans are like people who are doing magic, but the Christianity doesn't condone shamanism. But they are forgetting that Jesus Christ was the greatest shaman that ever existed. But only he didn't use herbs and everything. But he was the greatest shaman. But then they were not running away from him. They have been embracing him since 2,000 years ago that he came here. The whole world embraced him. But he was the greatest shaman magician that ever existed. Walked on water. He brought back the dead from the dead people to life. Walked and manifested food. Did everything. Parted the sea. Nobody was complaining about the magic he was doing because he didn't use any of it. But he was the greatest magician. He was a shaman. But of benevolent nature, of angelic nature. So he was God-sent shaman, that kind of way. So magic itself is the ability to learn to manipulate with this kind of energies. And when synchronicity begins, there are wheels turning in other areas that you don't know nothing about. You become at a certain place at a certain time. You become suddenly somewhere you didn't plan to be. And it's like buying a train ticket to an unknown destination. You are sitting there waiting for the train with one track. That is the old energy. That's how synchronicity was difficult, because you had this ticket, you're waiting for a train only with one track or no unknown destination. It took a long time. But now you have the same ticket with 5-10 tracks. So you are expecting a train anytime to come and help you and bring you to your destination. That's what synchronicity is doing in this new energy. This is an area of or age for the new spiritual people, spiritual beings, people who are going to incline to spirituality a little bit. Where the battle for the light and the dark and the planet, the light is winning and the darkness is dying out and it's being revealed. And we should know that God knows who you are, and there are entourage or angelic collective waiting to help you. And have that patience, that ticket to bring you where you're supposed to go. Beware. And people should be aware that the planet is operating in illumination. What you plan doing has a lot more light. You have a lot of help. There's a lot of help from the angelic collective. And we are servers of the seeds of light. And this did not work in the past because darkness was predominant, but now it's working in this new energy. Anything that didn't work in the past is worth trying again, because that was darkness at its peak. But now darkness is dying out, so anything you tried before and didn't work, it's better to try it again. And the sun is out, and the seeds you planted, some of you in the past with intent, in many ways, are now starting to blossom than it ever did before, for quicker and faster abundance, for quicker manifestation. So my dear friends, we should understand that humans, we at this juncture, any human being who is alive in this planet right now after the shift should be very lucky, because you should look at the civilizations, the Atlantis, you had the Noah flood period, you had the Egyptian god, the times of the ancient, the Kemet, Egypt. Those are all civilizations that died out. So we've had four civilizations before that perished completely with no trace. This is the fifth civilization that is able to make it to the fifth dimension, to this higher consciousness dimension. All the other civilizations from Atlantis, all of us have heard about the Atlantis civilization before, the Noah, the time, all those civilizations, the ancient Kemet, they died out. They didn't make it to the fifth dimension. So this is the first since the time of Jesus till now. What Jesus, let me put it this way, all what Jesus Christ was teaching when he came here to enlighten humanity, the love and compassion he was teaching everybody, which is what everybody has learned, has helped us to shift with this shift. All what he was teaching was about this 21st of December 2012, was to help us to move from that old energy to this new one. Now, that's all. Let me put it this way. I'm putting it in a summary form. All the teachings of Jesus Christ were based on helping us to move through past 21st of December 2012. And that's what we have succeeded in doing. So, four civilizations of humanity, from Atlantis, I've been saying it, I've just said it, they didn't make it. We are the first civilization to make it since Jesus Christ came. We are the first to move to this higher vibration, fifth dimension planet. So we are the first to do it. So human beings who are on the planet right now, you are magnificent. You are part of creation. Your soul is forever. And when you die, there is something called reincarnation. So people should not be too about that. You reincarnate time and time again to your... a brief example, if you die, you reincarnate within some years back to maybe a sister of yours, as a niece of yours, as a child, and you reincarnate there. You start from zero, and it's all within the family like that. That's how it is. And you should realize you deserve to be here. You are not on this planet to suffer, or a victim of this planet. You are in this planet to test energies. And the reason of being this planet is particularly now so exciting. Anybody who is the planet right now, it should become very lucky. So exciting because it's a test of energies. Now we are going to see thought manifestation, thinking of something, and it manifests. So the planet will continue growing to this vibration till we reach a certain level whereby you want to eat food, like the movies we see, Star Trek and things. You just think about food and it manifests itself on the table. You don't need to cook. You just think and it manifests. You see the food on the table. So thank you very much for listening.